slow caca.
Hi, my name's Nathan and I love the art of puppetry. It is a dream of mine to make content with different forms of puppetry. I think a large part of my fascination with puppetry came from my childhood. Um, I spent a lot of it watching Jim Henson's work, as many people did, and there was a bunch of television shows on when I was a kid that heavily involved puppetry that were always my favorite. There's like Nanoland, Bear in the Big Blue House, Role Play, Between the Lions, It's a Big, Big World, The Big Comfy Couch. There's definitely more. Mr. Meaty. I think the one thing that fascinated me as much as the Muppets and other Jim Henson work was the Gremlins movies. Um, I was so fascinated by them as a kid. The puppets looked so real to me, and it was a type of puppetry I've never seen before, like using rubber and different like mechanical parts to make something look. To me, it was so scary and realistic, but I loved watching it so much.
Milk duds.
Gremlins also, in my adulthood, has sparked a whole other interest, which is Gremlins knockoff movies, which there's so many. There's a bunch of these movies that use puppetry to try to create the same feeling as Gremlins. It's so clearly inspired by it. There's Munchies, the Critters series, Hobgoblins, the Ghoulies series, Troll and Troll 2, Spookies, Beasties, Elves, Little Devils of Birth, Ghastlies, Nightcrawlers, Feeders, Feeding Frenzy, and Chubbies. I think a lot of people my age and even younger still have a certain attachment to the medium of puppetry. A lot of it stemming, like I said, from childhood and stuff. But I think it deserves a more prominent place in entertainment, and I think that's becoming more and more evident. The Muppet Show just returned on Disney Plus. I've seen so much love in the past year on different social media like TikTok surrounding the Muppet movies from the 2010s. There's a rise and increased interest in puppetry on online entertainment. We're seeing successful channels and shows such as Puppet History, Arlo, Perception Studio, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, Awkward Puppets, and more that I think show that the online entertainment can be a great place for puppetry to exist and thrive. I think a lot of these things that I've talked about, the childhood shows, the movies, and all of these new channels coming out on YouTube and Twitch and everything are super interesting, and they've really inspired me. I would really like to be able to make my own series or something with puppets, or my own puppet horror movie that's like Gremlin-esque someday. But first I'd have to learn how to get into puppetry and learn how to make a puppet and everything. I have the idea of making a monkey puppet in the style of a Muppet, so like a felt puppet. But in the future, I'd really like to learn how to make different kinds of puppets, wooden marionettes, shadow puppets, rubber puppets, all kinds of stuff. Because I think they all have their own interesting qualities and can be used in such different ways. I'm going to be using Adam Krutinger's series on how to build a puppet as a baseline for what I'm going to do to try and make mine. I think no matter what, even just attempting this is going to make me proud. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and even if I fail, I'll have learned something and I can always try again. Now let's move to the building process. First things first, I took my pattern for my head and I cut it out into upholstery foam. I took the 2 pieces of foam that I cut out and glued them together to make my head. I then cut out a storage container following a template for my mouth plates. Now I'm gluing the mouth plates into my head. Now I'm taking a smaller piece of foam and gluing some fabric to it, and this will be my kind of like a mouth guard that goes right above the mouth and keeps my hand firm in the place of the mouth. And here I'm just gluing that in. Once the mouth guard is set, I cut a slit into the top of the head and filled it with stuffing. Once it was full, I then glued that slit back together. Now, I'm cutting out the fleece pattern for the head. Next, I cut out the fabric for the mouth plate. And now, the fleece for the neck. Now, I'm stitching together the fabric for the head. Here, I'm cutting out foam for my body. I'm taking these 2 pieces of foam for the body and gluing them together. And this is the body once those 2 pieces have been glued together. Here I'm sewing the fleece for the body. I am now making and cutting out a neck hole for the body. Now, I'll take the fabric for the body and roll it over it. Now, I am further stitching the neck onto the head. And once I have the neck done, I sew the neck into the bottom of the body to attach the 2. And this is my finished puppet as of now. I There's still a lot of stuff I want to do with it. It's not quite complete yet, but this is what I was able to do in the time I had. I still need to add stuff such as the nose, hands, eyes, fur, ears, and plenty of other little features that give it personality and character. But right now I have, kind of like a blank slate functional puppet, and playing around with it and getting to see how well it works really made me happy, and I'm pretty proud of myself, and I'm going to continue working on this and maybe make another one in the future.